So it's Friday 23rd of May, a few days out from Tahiti, heading for Tonga. Looking ahead, most of the competition is staying quite north, following the classic trade wind route and avoiding some of the heavier weather that's forecast to the south of us. I'm going to take a little bit of a risk, and I want to go a bit further south than Renault and Dan. And if you can just look at the screen there, so they're routing sort of pretty much direct west from here. I want to follow this track down towards the top of the Cook Islands, which is really the top end of where there's some sort of 45 knot winds, and that's not including the gusts. So I don't want to go too deep into those, but I want to get on the edge of them and try and get the benefit of more wind, some bigger waves, try and push this boat along a bit faster. I'm not going to overtake some of the competition just by following them, so I've got to have a different strategy. There are some risks involved, and I think on the whole though it looks quite good. The problem is the low that follows on beyond. I really need to get south of that to get favourable winds, because if I go through the middle of it there's going to be very little wind, and if I go to the north of it, like most of the competition it's going to be headwinds. So if I go south, there's some real acceleration of the breeze around some tight isobars, which means it's going to be pretty windy and have a long fetch with the sea, so big waves too. Just need to see what Origami can cope with and plan my route accordingly. Anyway, that's pretty much my strategy so far. And if we look out at the moment, it's quite balmy conditions. I've just got the A3A ready to put up if I can get a chance, but you can see quite a lot of cumulus clouds around now. Seas are beginning to build. I think we're getting closer to the stronger winds and the chance to sort of close some ground on the leaders. Frankly, I get a bit fed up with dead running in the trade winds. I mean, it's great sailing, but when it comes to racing, it doesn't give you a lot of tactical decisions. And if you've sort of grown up racing in a temperate area with lots and lots of frontal systems and big shifts, just this processional sailing gets a bit dull, really, which is why I really liked the doldrums last time off Panama. I do have Starlink back up and running now, but this version, I think the USB-C lead might be a bit damaged, so it takes a long time to set up and it cuts out quite a lot, so I need to work on that. Although from recollection, when I was using it off Panama, it was quite light winds, so the boat wasn't moving too much. Here in the waves, there's always a lot of movement. Boat's pretty clean. I just need to get her secured for action effectively. She's secured for sea at the moment to a certain extent. Just sails on the deck. This is the Starlink just in a bag to protect it when I put it on deck, and then you can see my new sleeping arrangements, now much more Spartan. No more yoga mats because it's getting too hot. Everything's stowed away, ready for some severe weather potentially, and at some stage I'm going to need to get some rest, particularly as the last few days I've been unwell with a fever and a sore throat and really haven't been able to eat, so I need to build my strength up ahead for the days ahead. But let's see how it goes. Not long now. So one item I really won't be without when I'm racing here are my Shocks open waterproof headphones. They sit outside the ear. The only problem is you can see the leads to charge them corrode quite quickly, and they're quite clever little arrangement with a magnet to hold it in place. But it's a 4-prong part and the pins are sort of corroded. So every time I charge it, I have to apply this sort of cable tie. So you should be able to see there should be a red light just showing on the frame there, just to show it's charging. Because frankly, if I lose those, and I do have a second pair that Adam kindly brought me out, or Adam's wife brought me out from England, although they're not really linking up to all my Bluetooth units. So really I listen to all my Audible books on my Kindle with that while I'm helming, and it just helps days pass and actually keeps the brain ticking over, and a chance to catch up on the great literature that I really have been meaning to read for some time. I've got the complete works of Dostoevsky that I tried to download on Starlink because I didn't get it completely downloaded when I was in Tahiti with some internet, and it's about 216 hours of Audible books, so it's a massive file I suspect, and it just keeps timing out. But I'm really looking forward to getting my teeth into that. Just catching up on some lighter literature in the meantime. But if my Shocks headphones fail, morale will dip significantly on board Origami, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed I can keep them charged. And the newer pair, an orange pair, Just keep working on those, see if I can link them up via Bluetooth. The downside being now that the spare Kindles I have probably don't have the right Audible books downloaded onto them. So having lost my iPad to corrosion and seawater, it's now a question of managing the content and the reading material and each leg. So anyway, just a quick bead for shocks. They're a great piece of kit. It's lasted me all the way from Portugal so far, but the charging leads need a little bit more protection from salt water environment. Well, it's the 25th of May and I'm still down to the south on my way to Tonga. I haven't found quite as much wind as I would have liked. I think it's probably a little bit breezier than further north, and probably going to pick up overnight. Let's hope so. It's been a bit of a slate grey day today, which is nice actually, not to be too hot for a change, particularly out in the cockpit helming all day. I've just made myself a hot drink, ready to put the nav lights on early, all the formalities of getting ready for the night ahead. The boat's got the wind pilot running it at the moment, so I've had to put in a reef in the main so it can cope. So as soon as I'm ready, I'll go back on deck. I'm just going to have a quick look at the positions on Starlink. Then I'll go back on deck, shake out the reef, take the helm and carry on through to quite late tonight, get a couple of hours or a couple of sessions of half an hour of sleep throughout the night, and get some rest and just keep the foot to the floor, trying to catch up with the boats ahead. While I'm waiting for Starlink to acquire satellites, and I think it'll struggle because the boat's moving a bit too much for it to hold it, I'll just show you just how miserable it is sailing with a freaking wind pilot. So even the mighty Aries really struggles to keep a boat like this running directionally straight in any sort of quartering following sea. I probably haven't set it up quite as I should, so it's not entirely the Aries' fault, but just to give you an idea just how miserable it is on board. Imagine trying to sleep in this and I want to be going over there and the boat's sailing me on a ridge, and then it will almost take me to a jibe. Sometimes it tries to jibe, always gets a bit hairy, and then it'll yaw back. The bag is a Carrefour bag just to stop my Starlink from falling overboard again, the most basic way to keep it on board. And it can get its signal through the plastic, so that's good. But I think it slightly diminishes the signal a bit. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of an uncomfortable night, I think. Not from a point of view of lots of wind, but just rock and rolling, and just, yeah. It'd be nice to run straight. Sometimes I dream of having a hydrovane like the others, but hey ho, got to work with what you have. Well, I'm about half a day sailing from the Cook Islands to Tonga. It was a rough night last night and the seas are still pretty monstrous. I'm going to have a quick MX3 music breakfast with the essential mini globe race ingredient, some Tahitian rum, just to make it taste more interesting. That's my excuse anyway. And just a touch more hot water from the jet boil without pouring it all over myself. The rest of that water I can use for coffee. In the night my boom brake broke, so for about the last 3 hours I've been taking it easy a bit. I fixed it, but I've just had 3 reefs in the main and the jib pulled out. For a while I had just a jib pulled out overnight while I was sorting out a replacement for the boom brake. That's just a safety feature that you can't really manage without these winds and seas. So hopefully it'll hold out. It actually pulled off. I still got the piece somewhere. It pulled off a piece of the stainless stanchion that it was actually anchored to. So it was quite some force. Thankfully I was back aft in the cockpit at the time, because if I'd been anywhere further forward, there was so much force behind it, I would not have been able to do that. Anyway, we survived. We got there.